Taboo romance movies have returned to theaters, and the upcoming slate for 2026 takes the genre in a serious direction. We are not talking about the soft variety or that fluffy scenario where two strangers make eye contact across a coffee shop while an acoustic guitar swells in the background. The new trend focuses on the dark kind of love that is messy and destructive. Audiences are flocking to that specific type of narrative where a character falls for a person they should not touch, and every single viewer knows exactly how wrong it is while being completely unable to look away. This specific breed of story has audiences in a chokehold right now, and the appetite for these films is highly evident. When Miller's Girl was released in January 2024, the audience reaction was highly charged. The film featured Jenna Ortega and Martin Freeman in a story about a high school creative writing teacher who gets dangerously pulled into the orbit of his highly intelligent and manipulative student. That picture earned roughly $1.2 million at the global box office, which appears to be a very modest figure on paper. However, the cultural noise it created was quite notable as online forums lit up with intense debates about the themes. Fan edits pulled in tens of millions of views across social media platforms. The promotional trailer alone drove people into a total frenzy before the movie even opened in wide release. Audiences walked out of theaters actively searching for the rest of these complex romantic narratives. Many viewers searched and looked for more content, leading to an answer that nobody online wants to state clearly. As of 2026, no major Hollywood studio has officially announced a single mainstream teacher-student romance film for the rest of this year or for the entirety of 2027. You can check every studio slate, film festival calendar, and trade publication to find that this specific classroom dynamic is completely absent from the upcoming release schedules. The narrative turns sharply in an interesting direction because Hollywood has not walked away from forbidden love at all. What is arriving instead is something broader, more psychologically dangerous, and more cinematically ambitious than a school desk could ever hold. 3 films releasing in early 2026 are carrying everything that the 2024 box office awakened in audiences, packed with larger ensemble casts, heavier narratives, and stakes that are very high. If you have been waiting for your next cinematic obsession, the wait is officially over. Determining which of the 3 releases will hit the hardest depends entirely on what kind of visceral emotional impact you are seeking at the theater. Wuthering Heights opens first with a release date of February 13th, 2026. Viewers who think they already know this tale are likely underestimating what this specific cast brings to the material. Margot Robbie plays Catherine Earnshaw, while Jacob Elordi takes on the role of Heathcliff. 2 of the most watchable actors working in Hollywood right now have been dropped straight into Emily Bronte's harsh saga about 2 souls who belong to each other in a way that destroys everything around them. The taboo element in this adaptation runs deeper than a simple rule or a conventional boundary. It runs through class structures, through history, and straight through the jagged space between the society Catherine was born into and the dirt Heathcliff clawed his way out of. Margot Robbie carries psychological depth the way very few actors her age can pull off on screen. She locates the sharp and jagged edges hiding inside vulnerable characters, and that specific skill is exactly what the role of Catherine demands. Jacob Elordi is excellently cast as Heathcliff due to his natural screen presence. He brings a barely controlled intensity to every role, projecting a quality that reads as magnetic and frightening at the exact same time, which fits this character perfectly. Seeing them together in one of the most destructive love stories ever put to paper shows that the executives chose that launch window deliberately. It is rare to find a period romance that maintains tension the whole way through, but this production is built to be exactly that kind of film. The fact that it drops in the spring tells you everything about how confident the studio is in what they have created. Next on the schedule is Reminders of Him, releasing on March 13th, 2026. This project carries the full weight of Colleen Hoover's extensive fan base directly into the theater with it. The narrative follows Kenna, played by Micah Monroe, as a young woman trying to rebuild her shattered life after a severe mistake, fighting to get back to her daughter while falling for Ledger. Ledger is played by Tyreek Withers, portraying a man with every reason in the world to stay far away from her. The illicit energy in this story has nothing to do with a classroom setting or a century-wide time gap. It lives inside loyalty and grief, showcasing the kind of love that feels wrong to want because of the heavy toll it extracts from the people closest to the main characters. Colleen Hoover's book sold over 2 million copies in the United States alone, and her readers are highly devoted and honest about whether an adaptation respects the original source material. The pressure on this film was substantial, sitting on the production constantly throughout the filming process. This meant the casting had to land perfectly, and pairing Micah Monroe with this script was a very smart choice. Monroe has spent years building a filmography full of deliberate and complex character choices. She brings a quiet ferocity to her characters, presenting the exact kind of emotional depth you do not see coming until a scene is fully underway. The internal stakes in this narrative are very elevated, and that quietly ferocious quality is exactly what Kenna requires to feel authentic and lived in rather than merely performed for the camera. Then we have The Drama, an A24 production arriving on April 3rd, 2026. The film features Zendaya and Robert Pattinson working together in an A24 feature, which is a combination that will naturally have many fans checking their local theater showtimes. The studio A24 does not typically make comfortable movies, preferring to craft films that sit heavy in your chest for days after you watch them. Their track record with intensely charged storytelling stands out from every single competitor in this space. They are loading that signature A24 atmosphere with Zendaya, who proved through Euphoria and Challengers that she can carry the crushing weight of complicated characters without flinching. She stars alongside Robert Pattinson, who spent his entire post-Twilight career picking roles with care to become a truly fascinating actor. That pairing is a significant creative statement that feels bold and fully intentional. This project promises a passionate, morally heavy, and wonderfully uncomfortable romance from a studio that has mastered exactly that specific tone. This release is positioned to be the one audiences will still be discussing a full year after the opening weekend. Let us know which one you are planning to watch first by dropping your answer in the comments below. This early 2026 lineup is undeniably one of the strongest collections of intensely charged, forbidden love stories Hollywood has assembled in a decade, and it does not even require a classroom setting. Subscribe so you catch every full review when these films hit the theaters, as we will be watching every single one of them and sharing our detailed thoughts. The reason this entire genre keeps pulling people back is because forbidden love stories say something about human nature that most standard blockbusters are too polished to admit. People often want what costs them something in the end. The distance between two individuals, whether that void is a classroom, a class divide, a shared history, or someone else's grief blocking the path forward, makes every single connection across that divide crackle in a way that an easy and straightforward romance simply cannot match. Viewers know they should not root for these couples, yet they find themselves doing it anyway, every single time, without any apology. The previous year kicked a heavy door completely open for this category of filmmaking. Audiences watched that tension and immediately demanded more moral complexity, more emotional danger, and more stories where attachment is never the safe choice and every soul involved pays a steep price for wanting it. The 2026 release calendar is answering that hunger, with 3 radically different films, each operating on the same core tension while dragging it through completely different fictional worlds. Wuthering Heights delivers the romantic period drama version that burns intensely across decades. Reminders of Him delivers the raw and contemporary human version that feels uncomfortably close to real life. Then, The Drama delivers the A24 version, which means you should expect something that resists any simple description and stays with you far longer than you ever planned for. These 3 films are scheduled across 7 weeks, all targeting the exact same hunger in the movie-going audience. The scheduling strategy is quite clever,